College hoops, coast to coast. We're back. We gotta start getting Kevin to dance after that. That's kind of get you going a little bit, right?
I'm energized as always. Never better.
No doubt. Can't not be energized for this guest. We have the #1 preseason team on the AP poll, assistant coach Roger Powell, who happened to be a really good player as well himself, and he is well versed in what it takes to win on the court as a player and as a coach. Really excited to have him in, for him taking the time. So we will bring in a future head coach, Roger Powell. What up, RP? How you doing, man?
Brian, what's going on, man? Good to see you.
Good to see you, man. I don't know if you and Kevin have met before, but Kevin, here's Roger. Roger, Kevin.
Kevin, how's it going, my man?
Good, man. Appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, excited to have you. So the easy question before we even get to last year and this year and everything else, what is it like going back out to recruit again now that there's no COVID and you actually get to go see the players? You haven't had any trouble recruiting, Coach, but I'm just curious, what has that been like?
It's great. I'm actually on the road right now. Obviously recruiting is the lifeblood of college basketball programs, and being able to get out and see guys and keep those relationships going, and see a player in person. I love it. I love being in the gym, and it's been great. It's been great. And it's good. Obviously, after you've had a great season, and people are talking about the games they watched, and that definitely helps. But I'm just happy to be back out, man, and watching high school and AAU basketball.
No doubt. Talk a little bit about, if you don't mind, talk about the recruiting aspect. Obviously, it's something that Gonzaga, again, just secured a #1 player in last year's class, continue to just get elite level talent. What is it about the recruiting process? What do you look for? How do you know when you see, like, that's a Zag right there? What is it about the evaluation process? Because clearly there's a ton of players in the country, but you guys have really found a niche. What is that niche, Coach, if you don't mind sharing? A little bit. Not all the sauce, but a little bit.
Yeah, I can't give everything, but I think relationship building is huge. And before a kid comes across our table, we have built relationships with people that know the kid, and people that are telling us that, hey, man, we got a kid that fits your program, that will be good for you. And I think that kind of helps us lock in and zero in on kids that really fit Gonzaga. And then after that, it's just a matter of building a relationship with the family, and making sure that we're a great spot for the kid. I mean, before kids come on campus and stuff, it's really we've done our homework on both sides, and made sure that it's a great fit. And then you just got to try to beat out the other awesome schools that are recruiting them, and that's a part of it, man. Is just trying to prove to kids and families and all those centering them that Gonzaga is the best place, and we have the best place to develop them and prepare them for life after basketball and win. And I think that's it in a nutshell. And there's a lot of other things that are involved, but I think those are kind of the keys when it comes to recruiting.
Is there anything specific, Coach, outside of just elite talent that Gonzaga looks for in their fit? If you can, last question on recruiting, then we'll move on to the team. But I'm curious, because it just seems like there are some guys that are not necessarily as highly recruited. You don't have a team full of 5 stars, but you continue to be one of the top teams in college basketball year in, year out. So I'm curious, what's that part of the secret sauce?
Man, I think it's, obviously fit's important. Style of play, do they fit how we play? But then also, we don't just recruit the kid. Gonzaga has a strong culture, and, we recruit the whole family. So I think it's just a matter of just the whole circle kind of fitting the Zag way, and we being a place where we believe the kid can have a ton of success. I mean, I think it's all involved, and it's a fun process. It really is, especially when which we've been fortunate to have. You have a great marriage, I guess you would say, where a kid comes and everything you said would happen happens, and that's when it's awesome.
You talk about some of the great players and great experiences. I think a guy like Drew Timme would be a pretty good endorsement for the Gonzaga model. It comes in as a outstanding freshman season, in the rotation, playing behind Petrushev, who's a pro, and then as a sophomore blossoms into one of the best, if not the best, big men in the country. And now he's back as a junior to do the same thing. When you're working with someone like him who has already done so much in the college game, what are the things you're working on from a kind of player development standpoint to bring his game to the next level when he's already accomplished so much?
Well, I think there's still room for growth, and just as much as you're developing him on the court, I mean, you're getting prepared for life after basketball, life off the court, what it means to be a pro, and I think all those things are things that we're doing. But I think the big thing is just perfecting his game. I mean, there's always room to get better, and I think he's a kid that you've seen each year he's improved, and this year our team will be different, but I think we'll be able to see just a certain level of growth in his game, and that's what you want, especially a kid that good. You want to find those holes in those areas that he can continue to get better at.
And how much value is it is there in having a guy like him, a guy like Nembhard, who's been through the ringer in college basketball, to lean on for these young freshmen, which is one of the best, if not the best, freshman class in college basketball?
It's huge. It's huge. I mean, we had it last year. I think Jalen, got a lot from Andrew, and Andrew was kind of that older guy that has played college basketball, and he really helped. Andrew helped Jalen, and I think this year, we have, Andrew Nembhard and Nolan Hickman. So, just having that balance of age with youth, really talented youth. I mean, it's been huge.
Expectations are a challenging thing to navigate, and you entered last year with all those expectations and lived up to it all until the national championship game. You enter with those same expectations, number one in the AP poll yet again. How does from the top down, from the coaching staff down, how do you guys manage what is expected of this program, which at this point is to not lose? I mean, it's the number one team in the country every year now.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I think, people say, hey, you guys are going to be better than last year. And I'm like, okay, last year we were 31-1, and we lost the last regular season game of the year, or the last game period, championship. And it's like, so the only way we can be better than last year's team is if we win every single game and win the national championship. I think that's very unrealistic. All things are possible. But I think the big thing is just, not really thinking about the expectations and taking it one game at a time. How you approach every day, will show in the end of the season. And sometimes you need some luck. I believe in God. I pray a lot, but you need some extra help sometimes to have these special seasons. I played on a special team in 2005. My senior year, we were 37-2. We lost the last regular season game and lost the last game in the championship. But those seasons don't happen often. It's very far in between. But, you just kind of keep going at it. And it's good to have the expectations, though. It really is. I mean, it's good to, be considered a team that could do that. But, shoot, I'm just worried about our next game.
No doubt. So everyone wants to ask about the phenom freshman, before he's even played a game. We showed a little bit of film of him getting his first bucket. Obviously a major get, I think the highest rated recruit ever in the school's history. What is it like coaching him every day? What is some of the parts about who he is that people maybe don't know, that haven't got a chance to coach him and see him behind the scenes?
Yeah, he's an extremely hard worker, and I think he's, a kid that young to have that high of a work ethic, a kid that you have to say, hey, it's okay to take a day off. You need rest. I mean, that's special. And I think that's going to bode well for him in his career after Gonzaga. And he's great to be around. He's fun to coach. And, we spend a lot of extra time working with him on things. And, he's like a sponge. And I love that about him. And I think that's why he's as good as he is. And I think he's just going to continue to improve.
Absolutely. The schedule, you guys got another challenging schedule. Talk a little bit about the schedule. I know you play Texas early, almost out the gate, and they're one of the best recruiting classes, and Coach Beard's done a tremendous job there. At Texas Tech prior to getting to Texas. That's an early game. I know there's many others. Talk a little bit about the schedule, if you don't mind, and just what you love about playing against the best and getting tested.
I think it's huge. I think when you talk about recruiting, we tell these kids you're going to play against the best. and we schedule the best every year. I mean, last year we were scheduled to play Baylor, early in the non-conference, and unfortunately it didn't happen because of COVID. But
Yep.
Coach Few loves playing a hard schedule, and I think it helps us. I think it challenges us. I think it gives our guys a certain edge because we know we got 3 top 5 teams basically, or 4 top 10 teams we're going to play against early in the season. So we got to be locked in. But I also think we can't look past teams that aren't in the top 10. I mean, this year we play Washington and Texas Tech, and we play some teams that are going to be really good. Our first game, Dixie State. We can't look past them. So it's a great schedule. To see we made it early and to challenge our team and to give us something to really improve on.
From a team standpoint, how challenging is it to keep everyone locked in on the task at hand? Locked in on Dixie State when you're staring down. I mean, what should be one of the great early season games of the year, the Texas game, obviously the UCLA game, which will be hyped up beyond belief. But when you're sitting there, you're looking ahead to Texas, which I think I talked about the other day, will be the best atmosphere in college basketball. It's kind of the return of the student section, if you will, after the Champions Classic is at MSG on night one. How do you keep everyone locked into here's what we have to do to win this game tonight?
It's a daily approach, and I think that's how we deal with the crazy expectations too. We don't think about the end result. We think about the day to day, and every day we got to win practice. Every day we have to maximize our time on the court. Every day we have to stay humble and hungry. Every day we have to prep for this next game and come out with an attitude to win. And I think that's the way that we kind of do it here, and it's worked. And Coach Few does a great job of handling that with our players, even with the staff. I mean, he gives us confidence, but yet he helps us, stay locked in and focused. I mean, he's been doing it for years. I mean, it's a gift of his. So, I think those things, help us not look past, any opponent, not look past any day of practice, because that's what we're developing our guys to be pros. And in the pros, you got to, it's a daily approach. You got long seasons. So, it's our job to get those guys ready for that.
Coach, with your experience, obviously playing at the highest level, your experience playing at the highest level in college, and as you talked about the result you experienced when you played, how much of that do you share with those guys? Obviously, we know how important it is for them to be able to respect not only just the coaching aspect, but the player aspect. And I know you get out there a little bit every now and then and still show them something. But talk a little bit about just your experience and how that helps you help these guys when it comes down to being able to cut down the nets on that final Monday.
I think it's organic. They ask questions about, hey, what was it like when you played in the championship game? And I think there's little tidbits here and there that I kind of draw from my experiences to help them in the moment. And then it's funny, sometimes they'll look up YouTube and, man, look at Coach Powell, man, that was Coach Powell, and look at what you did. So I think they laugh about some of the stuff, but at the same time, it's they do respect it, and they value me being able to have the same experiences, and they value the opportunity to draw from someone who's been there, and it's pretty cool. I enjoy that side of it.
Yeah, no doubt. Tell us about the part where now with the transfer portal and the extra year with college basketball, how has that changed recruiting? How has it changed the approach? I know it's nice to have summers again. Last summer with COVID, there was no summer. How has all those different changes in college basketball allowed you guys to prep for this year's team and kind of go into the season?
I mean, it's obviously a lot of changes in the landscape of college basketball, tons. But you just kind of evolve with it, and you try to make the most of it. With the transfer portal, number one, I mean, your own guys, you got to continue to recruit them. Number two, you got to take advantage of opportunities when there are guys that are leaving. Maybe you can get older, get the guy with experience, and then I think the other thing is, just making sure you stay true to who you are as a program and who your culture is. I mean, what you built and what you developed, not changing because the landscape has changed. Sticking true to your culture and then taking advantage of the opportunity. And I think one thing for us with the 6-year, we're young, and I think some teams have guys that are going to be 6 years of college basketball. They have a ton of experience. So for us, we got to get our young guys to grow fast because we're playing against some teams that have guys with 6 years of experience. So, that doesn't make me feel great about the youth. But at the same time, I think our guys are up to the challenge. And, the good thing is we have young guys leaving and going early to the pros. I mean, that's what guys want. And we're able to do it here at Gonzaga.
Last one I personally have for you. What has Coach Gentry brought to the mix? Obviously, a new guy on your staff, a guy who's a tremendous reputation. What has he brought to your staff that from both recruiting, but also player development and game planning standpoint?
He's been great, man. I think he's he was at my alma mater. He was at Illinois for a couple of years, but he was at Gonzaga before in an operations role, so he knows the culture. He actually went to Gonzaga. He walked on, and so he's a Zag. So I think it was a seamless transition with adding him, and he was able to bring some insight from his time at Illinois, and it's been great having him around, having him back, and he's gonna be huge for us.
All right, last one, Coach. We know you're on the road. We appreciate you taking the time. You're about to go recruit and sign. I'm sure the next Zag great that we'll be talking about next year when we get a chance to sit down with you. But my question is, one, we always like to ask about a funny story, something funny, a funny story, funny situation, anything that's humorous, that's entertaining for us before you take off and go to your recruiting.
A funny story. Oh man, you gotta prep me for this. I got a ton of them.
We know it's always hard to kind of figure out which ones are air appropriate, but anything that's just a funny moment, funny story from behind the scenes in Zagland.
I'll tell you something that's personal, funny. Just some of the guys that I'm recruiting, find out their ages and realizing that they were like 1 year old when I played in the national championship game. That's funny. I mean, my goodness, I'm coaching these guys that, I'm thinking to myself, hey, you remember when I played, coach, I was like 1. What are you talking about? I wasn't even alive. That's crazy, man. Time flies. But, I still can dunk. So I'm holding on to that, because they say something. They say, coach, I was like 2 years old when you played. I was like, all right, well, I still can dunk. How about that? Let's see if you're doing it when you're my age,
No doubt. But, now, hopefully their parents know who you are. Hopefully that.
Yeah, the parents know, but the kids, they were in diapers. So, that's funny to me.
No question. Well, Coach, we appreciate you taking the time. Means a lot. Good luck, best of health and success this year. Look forward to following, and we appreciate you taking the time. And go get them.
Thank you, guys. Good to see you guys.
Okay, Coach. Be safe on the road.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome stuff there.
I was about to say, is I going to be the small guy and you're the big man? What is this? You're taking over the network here.
Come on, man. Come on. Our production team. Come on.
Yeah.
Give it to them. Here. This will make you feel better. For all those that don't know.
Just got to pad my ego. There
we go. Let's close out the show. Thoughts on the Zags. You have them number 1. Obviously, they're pretty good. So let's talk about them.
Yeah, I mean, they do a tremendous job. Like that's not news to anyone. I think from a team building standpoint, the Holmgren Timmy front court is just so interesting, and I'm so excited to watch it in the context of like a huge game, like a Texas or UCLA. Obviously, like when you're playing Lewis and Clark and you're playing Dixie State, like they're going to dominate that. But I'm so excited to see it in a high level game because. In my mind, like Holmgren's ability to move on the perimeter, block shots, and hit threes, it fits so perfectly with Timmy's weaknesses, right? Because Timmy is so good down in the post. He's so skilled. He has great touch. He's strong, but he struggled in space, and he doesn't protect the rim. Okay, well, now you've just got a guy who can do all that, right? Like, that's awesome. And they have Anton Watson, too, who Anton Watson would start for – pretty much every team in college basketball. He's outstanding. He could play the 5. He could play the 4.
Yep.
But they have this guy named Drew Timmy who is pretty good, unfortunately. So, I think that front court is going to be awesome to watch. I think the thing that will determine whether they're, just Gonzaga good, like just normal good, or if they're pushing an undefeated season like they were last year, is this backcourt, right? And it's Nembhard is obviously a fantastic player, but when he was the guy at Florida, it wasn't always efficient. And I think seeing him as the guy will be so interesting for him at point guard. And then the younger guys as they come along, Hickman and Hunter Salas. I mean, those are two guys that have NBA futures. Where they are right now, I think, is an open question, right? I don't think, when you hear about what Salas and Hickman have done in early season work, it hasn't been, and preseason work, it hasn't been, oh man, they're Jalen Suggs, right? They're still learning how to play college basketball, and that's okay, right? That's pretty much every freshman in the country, right? Jalen Suggs is not the norm. But I think as those guys come along, that's what's going to allow this team to truly reach the ceiling. And that's why I think it was smart that Mark Few went out and got an experienced guard in Rozier Bolton, who comes in from Iowa State and played at Penn State before that. And look, he's not a superstar, but he is a big-time shot maker is the one thing that he is. And I think the value he'll bring early on as they get Hickman and Salas comfortable, I think will be huge for them. So they've got certainly a very talented roster. You said they don't always just get the 5 stars, but as they load up this roster, there's more and more top 75 kid, top 75 kid, top 75 kid. If they want a kid, pretty good chance they're gonna get that kid, and that goes all the way up to Chet Holmgren.
Yeah, they're definitely to that point now.
The brand is so strong, right? Like, who wouldn't want to come there? You've got the atmosphere in the background; it's crazy. You've got pro development. You're developing first round picks every year. It seems like Kispert was a lottery pick as a 4-year guy. Yep. Suggs was a lottery pick as a 1-year guy. You're going to win every game, right? Like, it's a pretty attractive sell, I would imagine.
Maybe not every game, but you're going to win most times out.
They won 31 out of 32 last year. So
they did. Yeah. It's they're in recruiting. They are to the point now. Of course, they're going to be able to grab the 5 stars consistently, and why not?
And if they wanted every 5, if they wanted only 5 stars, they could do that, right? But they haven't, right? And I think that's the indication. That's the Zag difference, right? And that's why they've been so good. Like, they have a kid in 22, Braden Huff, who's like a top 100 kid who's just perfect for what they do. Like, he's super skilled, and like they can. I think skill wise, he's comparable to Domantas Sabonis. Like, that's like, but he's not a top 50 kid. They just went out and they evaluated. They said, this is a guy who fits who we are. He's not going to be one and done, but he's going to be really, really good. And here we are. And they've obviously hit the international market huge with Tommy Lloyd down at Arizona. We'll see how strong the international ties can remain. But, they're in a great place as a program. And I think certainly hard not to envy them a little bit for the job they do. It's a machine.
Yeah, it's definitely a machine. And they have jumped in the portal as well and had success there. Starting backcourt a couple of years ago, both from Dallas, actually. Admont Gilder was from A&M. The guard from Dallas, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Point guard that transferred over there too. So they've been able to jump in the portal and get what they need to get there. I'm sure that will continue to be a place that they'll be able to plug into. But looking forward to watching the Zags. It's hard to imagine that they would be better than last year. I think if they could trade it, they'd probably lose a game earlier and win that last game if it wasn't for Baylor. But definitely looking forward to seeing the Zags do what they do again. It's going to be fun. We appreciate Coach Powell taking the time. And, keep following all access and coast to coast. We'll keep bringing the heat, Sweeney style. Oh, hold on. Let's end like this. Let's do it right. All right. Now we're better. Now we got things in proper proportion, ladies and gentlemen.
The whole world wants to see my face bigger. That's the real deal.
I'm just saying. Just got to end the right way. End it with a bang. See you guys next time.